Hello everybody, my name is Roxtus.
And I'm Soulgale.
And welcome back to Warfame.
Woo!
Wow. So, how did my Trinity? I'm going to right into it.
Trinita.
So first we're going to go ahead and take a look at her abilities. So her passive is she revives people 25% quicker. So on a down timer, if you have someone that's fallen, it takes 5 seconds to revive them. This makes it so that you revive them 1.25 seconds quicker off of the base. I do not have her basic. Let me change her to her basic.
I like her prime skin.
Or it is. Yeah, her prime skin is pretty, but I like the base skin. Alright, Well of Life. Create a Well of Life on enemy. Allies near the target gradually regenerate health and are immune to status effects. Allies also gain additional health when they attack the target. So this will drain you 25 energy on a base, has a base range of 100. Duration is 12 seconds, which is an okay duration, is not the greatest duration. Radius is 15 meters on a base. Health per second, this ticks health per second. So every tick per second is going to heal you 100 health. And then the lifesteal is on hit. So if you hit someone, you're going to lifesteal that unit by 1% enemies that are affected by Well of Life. Energy Vampire, allies will gain energy over time when enemies are marked with Energy Vampire. So the drain is 50, the energy per pulse. Energy per pulse is the amount that you get restored back, which is 25 on a base. Range is 100 on a base. Radius is the range, or the radius of the ability of how far away people are, and they'll still get the energy off of that. Range is the cast range of the ability, how far away a target can be and still be affected by Energy Vampire when you press that ability. Duration is about 9 seconds. Damage is that symbol there is actually true damage. So the damage is in percent of the target's maximum, I believe, maximum health. So 25% of the target's maximum health over those 4 pulses. And energy conversion is based upon Vampire Leech if you have Vampire Leech on, and that'll just be 150% there. So if you have 100 energy coming through, the energy conversion will convert that 100 energy to 150 because it's 50% more, and that'll go straight into your shields. So the unique thing about Energy Vampire is it does do 4 different ticks on this ability. So instead of the energy per pulse actually being 25, it's multiplied by 4 because there are 4 pulses that actually happen during the duration of 9 seconds. So that would make your... Ortis! Shut up, Ortis!
That was Lotus.
No, that was Lotus.
Yeah.
Shut up, Lotus! So the duration is 9 seconds. So if we're taking that, we're like about 2 1/3 seconds, something like that. 2 1/3 seconds per pulse. So you will have to wait 2.5 seconds for that next pulse to go off. And then you'll get an extra pulse. So the energy is actually going to be 100 for all the pulses. Shut up, Lotus! I'm thinking! Alright. So there is that. I don't think there's anything else much to that, but yes, there are 4 pulses. It's not just one. You get 4 pulses of a whole bunch of energy. Link is very, very good for basically surviving. Any damage taken while Link is active will be channeled to a nearby enemy. So any damage that that enemy is dealing to you or other enemies are dealing to you, no matter what the source is, as long as you are linked to a target, that damage will be reciprocated into you and back to those targets that you're linked to. Drain is at a base of 75. The enemies that are affected are 3. There will be 3 links that'll go to at least 3 enemies. If there's more than 3 enemies, you won't have more than 3 links. Damage reduction at a base is, I believe it's 75%. It is 75%, and that's not affected by mods. Radius is 20 meters at a base of how far away the unit can be and still be affected by link, and the tether range that line will be able to go to be able to tether to that unit. And the duration is 12 seconds. Blessing. It's It's a huge blessing. Restore health of and shields of near allies near trinities or affected aura, giving them some damage resistance. So it costs at a base of 100, duration's about 10 seconds. Restoration is at a base of 80%, and you can go negative strength on this and get less restoration where it won't fully heal you, but you do want to be, I would say around 100% would be a good point, because then you'd be able to heal all of your health back. So to do that, you'd have to have at least a minimum increase in strength of at least 25% to be able to get to 100%. And your damage reduction also at a base is at 50%, and that hard caps at 75% with 50% power strength. So you need 25% power strength to be able to get restoration to 100%, and you need 50% to get your damage reduction from 50% to 75%. And from that point, it can't grow any further. So we'll go ahead and take a look at some of the mods that we actually use for Trinity. So right off the bat, I have Think Frost Link, and this is basically a survival kit, which will be able to keep you alive for a long duration of time and be able to just keep you alive. She's very good at survivability. Energy Vamp is based upon her number 2, which basically just makes sure that everyone has energy in the squad, but this has less survivability in it. And Tri Efficiency is more so for Tridolons, because you want to be able to have efficiency when you're dealing with Tridolons, because you don't always have all the energy all the time. So you want to basically kind of balance duration and how long you can stay out on the field, and trying to keep as efficient as possible. As you can see, I have efficiency mods in here, trying to keep myself out on that field and not having to rely on other sources of trying to get energy back, trying to keep myself alive as long as possible, because Eidolons do deal quite a bit of damage.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at, first off, Think Link Frost. This is the main build I would use for any survival type situation. This has the best survivability in game, as long as you can actually energy vampire. With Tri Efficiency, why there's a difference in these two builds is because when you're doing Eidolons, you cannot actually use energy vampire, and we're going to rely on top of dispensary to be able to get our energy back. So with Think Link, we are able to actually use energy vampire as part of the kit to be able to get our energy back, which makes her really, really good in most cases to be survivable. I need Guardian. Where's my Guardian? Oh, there's Guardian. I can go ahead and put... You could put Energize on here, but I don't know why it's not popping up for me. All right. So we'll go ahead and quickly go over the build here. So number 1, we have Prime Sure-Footed in our Elixir slot. This makes sure that you do not get knocked down. A lot of bursts, a lot of different units will knock you down. Another mod that you can use is Handspring. Handspring is a good secondary, but when you do get knocked down, you have an animation to be able to get back up. This does make it so that it is quicker, but I just really like Prime Sure-Footed because then I never have to do any animations to be able to get back up. I'm always on my feet, and I'm always able to cast my abilities, and I don't have any time reduced when I'm on the floor. Steel Charge, a lot of people will use, and I've seen quite a few people use Corrosive Projection. Corrosive Projection is good if you're in a team-based squad and you have, all 4 people using Corrosive Projection, but I completely bypass it because there are quite a few different Warframes that actually have, with Link and with Abating Link, armor reduction, which basically does the same thing and better so than that. So I completely bypass Corrosive Projection. I just go for Steel Charge because for me, I really like melee and I like meleeing, and Steel Charge does quite a bit of damage.
Yeah.
If you think about it, this is actually effectively half of your prime or your pressure point. That's half of a basic pressure point, because basic pressure point is 120%. So this adds on pretty much almost half, or it is exactly half of pressure point. So that's really nice to be able to just have more melee damage. Now, I actually do replace the base ability. Let's see here. I actually do replace the base ability of Well of Life with Warcry. Why is the reasoning behind this? Well, this, if you hit somebody, has a lifesteal, and that does get your health back, but at the same time, Blessing already restores 100% of your health bar, and you don't have to do anything for that. So having two abilities to heal doesn't make a lot of sense, especially Blessing just gets you right back up all the way full. So there's no reason to have a second heal. I use Warcry a lot of the time because then I can just be faster and I can go in and be able to take things out quicker. Warcry is just a speed increase, and just it's very consistent too because the duration is as the same as both Blessing and Link at this point in time. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the made mods and what they actually do for the Warframe. Starting off, we're going to go ahead and use Narrow-Minded to add ability duration alongside of Primed Continuancy. Now you'll notice that Narrow-Minded actually negates our ability range. This is actually good. You do not want to use any range mods on Trinity. Why is that? Because Link gets negated radius. If you have too much range on this link, and you can see there where the units are getting linked to very far off, we're using our abating link, which gets buffed by power strength, and you need at least, so yeah, you need 66% power strength to get 40% to get your armor reduction or your armor penetration up to 100%. So you need 66% armor bonus power strength, which I have 77% here, but you only need 66% to be able to get, or actually 67 to get 100% armor penetration there. But the reason why negative 66 range is so that your link is not having to go so far, and you can keep people nice and close when you're doing melee, so that you're not having to go, oh, my link is all the way down the road and too far away from me, so I can't use the abating link. So abating link does reduce armor on ratings on targets when they're affected by link, and link of course does 3 different targets. So you can fully strip armor off of 3 different targets and be able to have no resistances while you're meleeing, which is perfect. And that's why you use the negative ability range, so that link is not linking too far away from you, so you have to chase down a target to be able to kill it to get your link back. So the negative range on Trinity is really useful here, just because then you can strip those enemies. We're going to go ahead, so that's our durations. Now we actually go efficiency. Efficiency just makes it so that you have a better battery life, because you don't want to be stuck in a situation where you don't have any energy. And this is a biggie, because I actually used to have blind rage on here. I had negative ability efficiency. If you ever get zapped by an Eximus unit, whether it be a leech, or you go through one of the Grineer walls and you get your energy completely zapped, that's at the point where you can't hit any ability. And because you can't hit any ability, you can't get your energy back. You can't put up Link to be able to take reduced damage, and you can't put down Blessing to make sure that you stay alive. So your energy is you're very dependent on your energy just to be able to survive and be able to self-sustain at that point. That's why I completely don't use Blind Rage, because as soon as you start eating too much energy, you're going to find that you're going to become an energy vampire yourself, and you're not going to be able to self-sustain if you run out of your energy. So that's exactly why I use Fleeting Expertise here, just to make sure that I am not running out of energy. It does negate your ability duration, but the abilities already are on such low timers, you really need to stay as efficient as possible. And with the low timers, there's also casting speeds. I go full Tau Forged Amber Shards, just so I have a super huge, fast ability casting, because most of her abilities take quite a bit of time to cast.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and look at her page here. So the ability cast time, they don't actually state it within her abilities, but you can already see here. Let's see. Cast time of a half of a second. Half of a second isn't too bad. Same thing here with 0.6 of a second. Same thing with Energy Vampire. I believe it's a half of a second. Has a cast time of 1.2 seconds. So, especially because the abilities are all very low duration, they're only 30 seconds and or less, you're taking a good bit of time. You have 1.6 here, you have 0.6 here, you're at 2.2, you're at a half a second here, so you're at 2.7 seconds. So, and I don't know what Valkyrie's Warcry is, but you're about 3 seconds on your casting time. So every 30 seconds, you have to cast all of your abilities again, which takes about 3 seconds to cast each one. So that makes it pretty imperative to have faster casting times, even with natural talent, because you don't want to be stuck sitting there trying to cast an ability and taking forever to be able to do that. So that's exactly why I would go full on casting speed. And if you don't have casting speed right away, you can find natural talent, and natural talent you're going to be able to find by the Gunstang 3. They are going to be able to drop it. That's probably the easiest way you can be able to get natural talent if you're trying to look for Trinity early. So, abating link, you have efficiency, you have duration. Now we need a bigger battery pack. So we're going to go ahead and put on primed flow. That's going to give us a bigger energy maximum so that we're never having an energy problem running out of energy. Again, leeches. If leeches hit you, you're going to run out of energy, you're going to run out of survivability, and that's where you're just going to get hit with basically no energy. Then you're going to go ahead and use Umbral Vitality just to get your health up so you have more maximum health. Health, also, when you're talking about toxic damage completely ignores your shields all the way. So having more health on most Warframes is going to be a better idea than even having shields. Shields absorb damage except for Toxin. Toxin completely bypasses your shield and goes straight for your health. And this is why I don't even focus on primed redirection or any redirection whatsoever for shields. I just focus straight up on health. And even if you don't think so, adding a little bit of armor here does help. So the armor reduction actually right now for me is 55%. If I take that off, I go down to 31%. So I'm actually adding on 20% damage reduction just by adding armor. And that might actually be counterintuitive, but it's not, because if I don't have this umbral fiber here as well, so that will reduce my tankiness. I have Arcane Guardian, so that does add armor.
Yeah.
But I'm adding pretty much a little bit more armor here just to add a little bit more tankiness. And then other mods for strength are actually going to be negative at this point. Transient Fortitude is going to negate my ability duration. I want my abilities about at 30 seconds, something like that, so I can be able to spam them and not have to have lower timers where my abilities go off earlier. So that's a negative there for Transient Fortitude. Overextended negates your your ability strength. So any other mod here is not going to be as good. Versus if I add this on, this ups my Umbral Intensify. Umbral Intensify, Umbral Vitality are all part of a set mod. So at the base, I can take off this. My Umbral Vitality starts out at 100. If I add on more Umbral mods, they pair with each other and give themselves each bonuses. So now my Umbral Vitality is at 130. Umbral Intensify is from 44 to 50. And Umbral Fiber goes from 130 to 180. So that's really nice that for each of these part of a set give you more bonuses the more of these sets, or the more of the similar type that you put on. There are more sets than just this set, but this set right here is going to be the best for this type of build.
Oh yeah.
So this also too, this gives me that 67% bonus strength to be able to get a baiting link to have 100% armor pen. So that's really, really useful. And if I didn't have this Umbral Fiber here, I would have to put on something like Blind Rage or Transient Fortitude to get my power strength up so that a baiting link actually takes off all of that armor penetration. Because right now I'm only at 93%, and as soon as I get my other Umbral on here, there it is, it's right there. I'm blind as a bat. But as soon as I get this on here, now it's at 77%. And now I can get my 106% armor reduction, which fully strips all armor off. And armor is, I would say, more so toward Grenier, because Grenier are very, very tanky earlier in the game.
Oh yeah.
Energy Vampire. So now we're going to go into the Energy Vampire build. This build is more so for teammates, squad mates, and trying to be able to get energy to everyone else. This is not my favorite build, just to say the least.
No, you are very squishy with this one.
Yeah, you're very squishy with this one. So right off the bat, we're going to be focusing fully on Energy Vampire. Everything else is going to pretty much suck after that. So we're going to go Arcane Nullifier. That's actually going to make sure that we never get negated by magnetic status effects. And that's kind of effective. Let's see, what's the unit? We're looking at Corrupted, Ancient Corrupted. Their hit on hit still strips your energy away. So even with Arcane Nullifier and or some other enemies other than just the Corrupted Ancients can also take off energy regardless if you have Arcane Nullifier on or off. So that's kind of silly that Arcane Nullifier doesn't fully make sure that you don't lose any energy, but that is what it is.
Yeah.
Some other enemies will do that. I'm not sure which ones, but I have to think. It's the Disruptors.
Yeah, the Ancient Disruptors.
The Ancient Disruptors. Yeah. So yeah, the Ancient Disruptors, even if you have Arcane Nullifier on, they will still strip energy from you. So that to me is just kind of ridiculous that they do that, even though you have 102% chance to resist magnetic status effect, even though you have that on. They will still hit you, you'll still have your energy zapped. So again, prime sure-footed to make sure that we're not just rolling around on the floor all the time. We want to be able to cast our abilities and not have any issues. I always love strength or melee damage because I love meleeing in this game. Energy Vampire, excess energy replenishes shields by 150%. This only goes so far though, because as soon as you start hitting heavier and higher levels, at some point they are going to bypass all that shielding and they're pretty much going to one-shot you. There is the potential chance though that you will get shield gating. Shield gating, I haven't really tried it as much as I should, but shield gating could be able to save you at that point. Natural talent for improved casting speed. What you want to do though, and the two mods that really pair well together for this build are going to be Transient Fortitude and Fleeting Expertise. You want your duration as low as possible. Why for this build? Because then Energy Vampire can pulse 4 times very quickly in 1.12 seconds. So every less than a half second, it's more like a 30th of a second or a quarter of a second. Every quarter of a second, you're getting 1 energy pulse off, and that's very effective for getting everyone's energy back very quickly. You can pair this with Blind Rage to just super buff how much energy you're getting per pulse. And then Overextended will add ability range to make sure that everyone, no matter, regardless how far away they are, or as far away as it can actually get the energy back. Then we're going to add Umbrella Vitality along with Umbrella Intensify for a little bit more health and a little bit more strength, just to add more energy back onto here. Now the big problem with this build is that your Link and your Blessing become pretty much useless. I would not use Link, and I would use Blessing, but I would not use Link, because Link gives you that 75% damage reduction only for 1.5 seconds.
That's not enough time.
That's not enough time. So your Link becomes completely useless when you're using this type of a build. But Blessing, it does get you your health back, but the damage reduction only lasts for 1.25 seconds. And this is very negative toward Blessing, because that 75% damage reduction, or the 50% damage reduction, depending on how much your strength is, applies to all your allies. So if you're on this type of a build, this will apply for all your allies, and it'll do it for 20 seconds. So everyone has 75% damage reduction. They're able to survive for a lot longer. When you're going this build, yeah, I'll be able to heal my allies for now, but then over the duration of the time that blessing is up, it's quicker going down because it'll go down in one and a quarter second. And then from there, allies can go down very quickly, and the damage reduction does not help if they just go down right after that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, negative duration, yeah, kind of. I mean, if you're just looking for allies to be able to press abilities, but still, when you're looking at energy vampire, one thing that you want to keep in mind is if I place energy vampire on a unit and then I kill that unit, all 4 pulses drop all at once.
Which is nice.
Which is nice. So you don't have to sit there and you don't have to wait for 9 seconds or 17 seconds. You can just go ahead and kill that unit and it'll immediately drop all the energy that you want to get off of it. So don't worry about killing the unit. You can kill it. You won't lose any energy by killing the unit. You'll get all the energy that you would as if the ability fully played out. So you don't need to worry about that. On this, is it really worth it to go 1.12 seconds? To me, no. I'd rather actually go for a full Trinity build, full survival build, and have it where the duration, yeah, it might be long, but I can just kill the unit. And I can get all the energy from that unit. And it works. Try efficiency. I won't go into this one too much because it's not really my favorite, but you're basically going full efficiency here to make sure that you can spam your blessing and you can spam your link so that your allies don't die during the Tridalon. And the reason for full efficiency is you only have so much battery. You have only 641 battery added by Prime Flow, but you don't want to be consuming all of that energy to keep everyone alive. And plus 2, the abilities, you want to have them as long as duration as possible to keep everyone alive.
Yeah.
Again, health and Umbrella Intensify. It's pretty much the same build with the same 2 durations. You can add on Natural Talent. At this point, though, it's up to you, but Natural Talent is pretty nice because you want to be able to go back to the Eidolon and you want to be using Deadeye to be able to get your sniper, because most of the time when you're doing Eidolons, Rubico really is really useful for this type of a build.
Yeah.
For this type of movement. And then, of course, Arcane Momentum. On a critical hit, 60% chance for 150% reload speed to sniper rifles. So this makes sure that you can just keep on firing that Eidolon. And then, of course, Arcane Nullifier, because as soon as the Eidolon does the EMP pulse, you're going to be able to survive and still have your energy and not have your energy fully drained. So that's what I would do for Trinity. But my main build, and I would have to come back to this one, is just survivability, especially in a survival mission. Well, should we go ahead and show how this one works?
Yes.
All right. We're going to go ahead and hit Mott.
Ah, Mott.
Mott.
Keep the enemy busy while a fellow Tenno operative raids the ship for supplies. Ready? Trigger the alarm.
All right. Let's see each of these abilities in action, yes?
Yeah.
I know Warframe for Trinity, she is a very much older Warframe. Link, Blessing. Now, I will show what happens with Link as well, but you can see when Link attaches, the unit changes from an orange to a red. This shows that their armor is completely gone.
Yeah.
So that is super nice. Again, more armor, less armor. Armor fully gone. So as soon as you see a unit with orange on their health bar, that shows that they have armor on. So most of the Corpus don't even have armor.
No, they mostly have shields.
No, they mostly have shields. But when you're talking about Grenier, they all have armor. So you'll see the orange bar turn to a red because their armor has been stripped. And this is really nice because I can just move from one target to the next and not have to recast the ability to strip that armor. For most other Warframes like Nag or Frost, you're going to have to recast that ability to be able to restrip that armor. This is the nice thing about Trinity, because she's mobile while stripping that armor.
Yeah.
And of course, if I do Blessing, and I get close enough to Rai, close enough to Soul, and I hit Blessing, I'll apply a Blessing on her for 75% damage reduction. So that is beautiful.
Also, I was reading on Valkyr's Roar too. It gives you an armor increase as well.
Oh yeah, makes you even tankier, so you can survive, which is nice. But you can see how each of the abilities goes off very quickly, and you have to recast them. That's why you want the casting speed.
Life support on the way.
I want to get under the ground. How do I get under the ground?
Another life support capsule is now available.
Yeah, I forgot though that Link actually redirects the damage. It'll kill them regardless if I do anything or not.
Yeah.
And then the percentile health damage is pretty good. Ah, stop healing, leech. I'll give you blessing.
Well, I give you a blessing.
Status bar on my top right shows all my statuses, so if I reapply Blessing, you'll see Blessing being reapplied. Status bar for other players is right next to their name, so if I was closer and I do this, it'll apply Blessing to you. And the interesting thing about Blessing is that its range, its radius off of its range, is not actually affected off of range as the modding system. It's based upon affinity range.
Yeah, affinity, which is in the Vazarim area.
Which is a completely different stat. But
Yeah.
the main thing you need to know is that if I'm close enough to somebody, how I tell what my affinity is that little triangle dot thing right there. So if I get closer to her, you'll see a status effect pop up right there. That's when I know I'm in affinity range with her.
Off to a successful start.
Yes.
So let's see here. So I'm pulling away from you a little bit. And then you see the little triangle with the 3 dots.
Shared affinity.
And it says it's shared affinity. And it'll pull away. So if I get out of that range, it won't apply. But now as soon as that hits, now I'm able to actually apply it. So that's how Blessing is actually applied, which is really cool.
Which is really cool.
Because I don't have to worry about, oh, I have too short of range and Blessing's not getting out to people. It'll apply regardless, as long as you're within affinity range. Oh, shall we go?
Yeah. Wherever the exit is over here.
It's all the way.
All the way.
Apparently Helios gets Warcry as well.
Yeah. He also gets Vault's speed buff too.
Bless you.
Oh, bless you too.
I sneezed.
Another
Oh,
job
bless you.
well
Bless you.
executed.
All right. So that is Trinity. Oh,
I still love playing Trinity.
oh yeah. She's very good. Very tanky, very survivable. And the main thing I would use for her, if I was to seek one word to say her, is self-sufficient. She basically keeps herself alive and she's able to keep her energy up. She's very self-sufficient. She just can keep herself alive. But one thing that I did forget was there are 4 different things that affect abilities, and there's just basic stats. So you have armor, energy, health, and shields. Just determine the stats that affect your health, shields, pretty much basic things alongside sprint speed. But when you're talking about abilities, there's 4 different things that affect ability. You have duration, which increases the duration of the ability. So Link, my duration on this is 12 seconds. If I increase more duration, it'll go above 12 seconds. Efficiency. Efficiency is hard capped at 75%. I believe I said that earlier. But again, it does hard cap at 75%. If I try to add more than 50 and 75% on Streamline, it will not go above 75%. The minimum energy cost is quarter of the basic value. So if I try to add 5% higher than 75%, right now I'm at 80%, it'll hard cap at 75%. So there's no reason to really go above 75%. Even though you think, hey, you know, I could add on more ability efficiency, it doesn't do anything because it is hard capped at 75%.
Yeah.
So nothing much you could do there. If you were going to get full efficiency using fleeting expertise and streamline at full value, it would be 90%, but they do hard cap it at 75%. Range basically is the range of the ability. You can have a small snow globe or a big snow globe. And then you have strength, which strength just impacts the effectiveness or the proficiency of the ability, basically giving you more resources back, whether it be energy or like a dispensary or even hydroid with getting drop chances increased. It'll increase those increases as well to get more items, more energy, or in cases of like Link, where you get armor penetration, that also gives you more armor penetration, and Blessing, where you get more damage reduction. Strength also applies to those abilities as well. So yes.
Yeah.
Well, is that all the time we have for this video?
Unfortunately, yes.
And we will see you guys in the very next video. Bye bye.
Bye bye.